has made Sean Combs a little bit nervous.
Me on that when you said, yeah, he looked like the gay homie. I didn't know what you were talking about.
I wouldn't go to. Do you think this might be too early?
Diddy entered the courtroom looking calm, composed, and fully prepared to face whatever challenges awaited him. But what happened next completely blindsided him. When a new audio recording released by 50 Cent was played, the entire courtroom fell into stunned silence. Contents were explosive and the impact was immediate. Diddy's confident demeanor collapsed as the recording echoed through the room. His reaction was visible: shock, discomfort, and a clear loss of control. The moment was dramatic and surreal, turning the trial into a full-blown spectacle. What began as light celebrity jabs has escalated into a public unraveling of a music mogul. The sudden shift was as powerful as it was unexpected, leaving everyone speechless.
Sean Diddy Combs walked into the courtroom yesterday wearing a sweater over a white-collared shirt and gray slacks. He hugged his attorneys when he got in.
As Sean Diddy Combs entered the courtroom, the air grew noticeably heavier. Though he carried himself with cool confidence, tailored suit, dark shades, and aura of authority, something seemed off beneath the surface. His walk was steady but not effortless, his expressions unreadable yet too rehearsed. The silence wasn't ordinary, it felt loaded, like everyone in the room knew something seismic was about to erupt. Curious eyes followed him, lips whispered, and notifications buzzed as people braced for impact. Diddy exchanged formal nods with his attorneys and took his seat, shoulders straight, posture firm, yet that calm exterior was deceiving. The energy clung to him like static, and despite every effort to remain poised, the pressure was obvious. It was more than just a trial beginning, it was a storm brewing in plain sight. For all his practiced composure, it was clear Diddy's grip on control was already beginning to slip before the proceedings even started.
The statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer. There's a point where it kind of gets aggressive.
The entire atmosphere changed the instant the new audio clip was played. Sourced from 50 Cent's soon-to-be-released Netflix docuseries, already a lightning rod for drama, the recording brought everything to a standstill. You could hear a pin drop as Diddy's voice filled the courtroom, casual, teasing, offering to take another man shopping, talking about covering costs and hanging out. On its own, the banter might have seemed trivial, even humorous. But in the context of the serious charges he's facing, those same words suddenly felt ominous, laced with deeper implications. What once might have passed as playful now sounded calculated. Crowd listened closely, processing what this revealed. For years, 50 Cent has hinted at hidden truths, and now that truth had a voice, Diddy's. Played publicly, stripped of privacy, this wasn't just a recording, it was a moment of reckoning. Everyone in that room knew the narrative had just taken a powerful and irreversible turn.
Various charges against him. The three main ones are racketeering, basically extortion, sex trafficking, and the transportation of people across state lines.
Gasps echoed through the courtroom as the audio played, leaving many stunned. A few people shifted uncomfortably, while others exchanged confused glances. In the back row, reporters began typing frantically, realizing this would dominate tomorrow's headlines. Even Diddy's legal team seemed blindsided. Shocked expressions and quiet whispers passed between them. They hadn't anticipated this clip making it to court. The air grew heavier, the atmosphere tense. Every eye fixed on Diddy, waiting for a reaction. First, he stayed rigid, expressionless, eyes locked ahead. But as more of the audio played and the judge permitted additional context, his mask started to slip. His jaw stiffened, fingers gripped the table harder than necessary. Then came the breaking point. He leapt from his chair, voice rising with emotion and fury. He shouted, accusing 50 Cent of manipulating the clip, saying it was all out of context and meant to embarrass him. He jabbed his finger at the screen, demanding the audio be dismissed. Chaos erupted momentarily. The judge banged the gavel, calling for order. His lawyers rushed to calm him, urging him to sit. Slowly, reluctantly, he sank back into his seat. But the damage had been done. His image of calm control shattered. In that moment, the courtroom no longer saw a composed music mogul. They saw a man cornered, unraveling under the weight of the truth being brought to light.
Will you go out to the prison and will you visit him just for funsies? I don't know. Look, because you think that right now he can feel like I'm his enemy. Wait, right now wait, what? Yeah, why would you feel that way? I mean, I'm not his enemy, the federal government.
50 Cent isn't passively observing Diddy's downfall. He's actively driving it. His Netflix documentary, which features that now viral audio clip, wasn't dropped by chance. It was a precise, strategic release, timed to hit just as Diddy's legal troubles peaked. This wasn't coincidence, it was a power move. 50 Cent knew the impact it would have, using the moment to amplify a narrative he's been building for years. He's not merely reporting events. He's directing attention, shaping public perception, and pulling back the curtain on a version of Diddy that's long been rumored but never so publicly exposed. It's personal, calculated, and undeniably effective.
But I don't have that thing where we didn't have no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him, baby. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other.
As both the producer and voice of the documentary, 50 Cent ensured it wasn't a tribute to Diddy's success. It was a takedown methodically structured to unveil truths that had only lived in whispers. The series turned years of rumors into a national conversation, but the turning point came when 50 included private audio from a seemingly casual exchange. The words weren't just strange, they detonated in a courtroom already tense with anticipation. That was no accident. Critics may call 50 a troll, a calculated showman, or a relentless rival, but in this case he's playing chess, not checkers. This documentary isn't just another jab in their long-standing feud, it's a full-blown strike timed with surgical precision. While their beef has simmered through cryptic tweets and industry gossip, this was different. 50 used Diddy's moment of vulnerability to launch a permanent record of controversy, inserting himself directly into the courtroom discourse. He didn't just fan flames, he lit the match and ensured the blaze was televised. The version of Diddy the world is now seeing, the one entangled in scandal and exposed through unfiltered footage, is the one 50 has been hinting at for years. With the documentary now public, the damage is irreversible, and 50's influence on the narrative is impossible to ignore.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said,
Let me read it, Fifth.
You could label it a personal vendetta, and to some degree it probably is. But what 50 Cent is doing seems to go beyond just settling old scores. He appears driven by a mission to expose a side of the industry that's been hidden and protected for far too long. His documentary wasn't designed just to entertain or provoke. It was built as both a weapon and a mirror. A weapon aimed squarely at Diddy, and a mirror reflecting the darker corners of celebrity culture, hip-hop power dynamics, and the unchecked influence of fame. Whether people admire 50 Cent or criticize him, one thing is clear: his plan is working. The fact that the court approved the audio as evidence shows how impactful it really is. This wasn't just some offhand conversation, it was a legal and cultural turning point. When the audio played, it cut through the courtroom like a blade. Diddy's words weren't quirky or meaningless, they struck a nerve. One moment in particular left everyone stunned. Diddy suggesting, "Yo, why don't we go shopping? I'll pay for it." It didn't come across as humor. It came across as a man who had grown too comfortable crossing lines. The silence that followed was heavy. People weren't just hearing a conversation, they were witnessing a mask slip off in real time. And in that moment, the courtroom wasn't just listening, they were judging.
Apologize, saying, "Sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today."
The entire exchange painted a disturbing picture, revealing someone repeatedly overstepping professional and personal boundaries in ways that many could perceive as predatory. It wasn't just a single offhand remark. Things quickly escalated. After casually mentioning a shopping trip, Diddy made an even more troubling comment about kicking it, followed by an inappropriate joke about playing with your booty in Miami. These strange, inappropriate remarks immediately caught attention, particularly in a courtroom already filled with tension. Whether or not Diddy meant for his words to be taken seriously didn't matter. The fact was, he said them, and worse, they were recorded. The room buzzed with disbelief, and it became clear that this moment would not be easily forgotten. This wasn't simply about awkward jokes or poor judgment, it was connected to years of rumors and accusations regarding Diddy's behavior behind closed doors. Now, the public had more than hearsay. They had tangible evidence in the form of a recording that linked the dots. The audio served to strengthen long-standing allegations about Diddy's toxic conduct, manipulation, and inappropriate behavior within the music industry. His casual, dismissive attitude, along with his blatant disregard for boundaries, reinforced the troubling narrative that had followed him for years. When the recording was presented in court, it did more than shock. It fundamentally changed the course of the case. Prior to this, the prosecution relied largely on testimonies and accusations. But now they had something concrete, Diddy's own unfiltered words. This wasn't just another dramatic moment, it was a pivotal shift. The defense could no longer dismiss it as mere speculation. The jury wasn't just listening to witnesses, they were hearing directly from Diddy, in a way that revealed a disturbing pattern. This moment shifted the power dynamic, gave the prosecution a stronger position, and made it far more difficult for Diddy to maintain control of his carefully crafted public image.
8 celebrities, 6 men, and 2 women. How many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
The new evidence gave the prosecution a significant edge, revealing a clearer and more damaging view of Diddy's behavior. It wasn't just a single inappropriate remark. It highlighted a pattern of manipulation and toxicity long rumored but never proven. The audio shifted the case from isolated accusations to a broader, more troubling context, making it difficult for the defense to dismiss the claims as personal attacks. What began as legal charges now offered a deeper look into Diddy's true character, compelling the courtroom to reevaluate everything they had previously believed. The recording didn't just serve as evidence. It exposed a side of Diddy that was impossible to ignore.
Could be a life sentence. The sex trafficking is 15 years minimum, and the transportation for prostitution purposes is 10 years minimum. So
the immediate legal impact was significant, with Diddy's credibility taking a severe blow. His defense team scrambled to offer an explanation for the audio's content, but no amount of legal jargon could overshadow the stark clarity of the words spoken. Courtroom was filled with disbelief as the audio played, and it was evident that Diddy's position in the trial had weakened substantially. The defense's attempts to minimize the importance of the audio only made them appear defensive, further shifting the momentum in the prosecution's favor. In response, Diddy's legal team issued a statement, but it came across more as damage control than a legitimate defense. They argued that the audio was taken out of context and didn't reflect Diddy's true intentions. However, it was clear to everyone following the trial that the damage had already been done. The audio provided an unfiltered glimpse into Diddy's interactions, and his team struggled to deflect the negative implications. The media quickly seized on the incident, and it became an instant sensation. Headlines dominated news outlets, blogs, and entertainment websites, with the leaked audio becoming the central topic of conversation. News channels and websites endlessly replayed the shocking moments, analyzing every detail. What started as a legal issue quickly evolved into a full-blown spectacle, capturing the public's attention. It wasn't just the explosive content of the audio that made waves, it was the fact that someone as prominent as Diddy, once considered untouchable, was now publicly facing such serious allegations. The story was impossible for the public to ignore, and the media's relentless coverage only amplified the scandal.
There's really no deal that the U.S. Attorney's Office can offer, and it's certainly not one that Diddy will accept. It would involve decades in federal prison. We're talking about mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years for both the drug charges and the sex trafficking.
The situation triggered strong reactions from fans, fellow artists, and public figures. Opinions were divided, with many fans taking sides. Some defended Diddy, dismissing the leaked audio as a malicious attack from his enemies. Longtime supporters refused to believe their idol could be involved in anything shady. In contrast, others felt betrayed, viewing the audio as proof of their long-held suspicions. For these fans, it wasn't just about the legal case, it was the disappointment of seeing someone they admired engage in questionable behavior. They voiced their shock and disillusionment loudly on social media. Fellow artists also weighed in, with some distancing themselves from Diddy while others showed support. The music industry is a tightly knit community, and situations like this ripple across the entire industry. Some artists, especially those who had previously clashed with Diddy, felt a sense of vindication. However, those with closer ties to him were more cautious, unsure of the full impact and the long-term consequences of
how much detail he could go into about his testimony. And because the 8 people in the videos, the 8 celebrities in the videos were allegedly victims of sex crimes, we know who they are, but we will not be naming them.
Social media became a central force in amplifying the drama surrounding Diddy's courtroom outburst. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok erupted with reactions, memes, videos, and opinions flooding users' feeds. People from every background shared their thoughts, some analyzing the leaked audio, others making jokes or expressing their shock over the situation. In today's fast-paced social media landscape, news spreads rapidly, and every new tweet or Instagram story magnified the reactions. The buzz around Diddy's courtroom incident intensified, ensuring that the story couldn't be ignored. Media outlets, driven by social media's energy, kept the story front and center, maintaining its place in public discourse. The feud between Diddy and 50 Cent had been simmering for nearly 2 decades, beginning in the mid-2000s when 50 Cent first launched a verbal attack on Diddy. At the time, 50 was at the peak of his career, enjoying the success of his albums, while Diddy, already a major figure in the music industry, became one of his main targets. Over the years, their rivalry has been marked by diss tracks, public insults, and sharp exchanges in interviews and on social media. This ongoing battle between the two has captivated fans and artists alike, who have consistently taken sides. The animosity between them made headlines in 2006, when 50 Cent released his diss track, The Bomb, aimed squarely at Diddy. The track served as a direct attack, exposing the tension between them and laying the foundation for years of public exchanges. Since then, 50 Cent has consistently taken jabs at Diddy, accusing him of being fake and questioning his business practices. Despite this, Diddy kept his composure, always appearing unbothered and calm in the face of 50's provocations, until now when the courtroom drama added a new layer to their rivalry.
I don't know. I hope things are all right for him internally.
Speaking on?
I mean, at the crib. Because in the statement they mentioned this.
Oh, you talking about
The recent courtroom incident, fueled by 50 Cent's Netflix documentary and the audio it uncovered, adds another dramatic chapter to their long-standing rivalry. For anyone familiar with their feud, this development was inevitable, as 50 Cent has long made it clear that he wasn't finished targeting Diddy. The documentary, which exposed some of the more questionable aspects of Diddy's life and career, gave 50 Cent the perfect ammunition to strike at Diddy's carefully curated public image. The leaked audio, especially the awkward and uncomfortable moments, only intensified the situation. For Diddy, this courtroom drama is the most significant public challenge to his reputation in years. While he's previously been able to dismiss jabs and insults, the revelation of the audio in such a high-profile setting is a challenge he can't easily ignore. 50 Cent is playing a calculated, long-term game, using his platform and documentary to attack Diddy when he least expected it. The timing couldn't have been better, as Diddy is already facing legal troubles and a trial. 50 Cent's move to escalate the situation now is deliberate, turning up the heat at the most opportune moment. So what are your thoughts on all of this? Share your opinions in the comments below.